It's almost time. I'm looking forward to seeing some friends. Hi, Janelle. How are you? Leave me a comment. Kind of spanning the room here, showing off some of my items from Japan. My brother was stationed in Japan, and these are some of the items that he brought back. And then I have a craft we're going to do, an art we're going to do from Japan. So just getting ready to start here in just a minute or so. Trying to wait till that time is officially 2 o'clock. But it's good to see ya. Am I going too fast, Janelle, for you to see some of the items, or can you see them? Is it hard to see? I would look at my Fitbit for the time, but my Fitbit has a problem. Right now it is 4:24 on my Fitbit. Yes, it hasn't worked right since we did the time change. It's craziness. I'm having a little network trouble here, so I don't know how. It says the connection is low. So it's kind of coming and going, so I don't know. I'll go ahead and tape record it, and then I will post it on Facebook, and then I'll also go onto my YouTube channel and post it and post some links. So that way, if you miss out, you can do that. I will also have a folder with some pictures of some of the items and some of the items that I have done in the past. I'm going to hold my phone up because I still don't want to show my face very much. There I am. But it's the mystery of that guy, that neighbor next door that we never really saw his face. So I have my table in a little bit different position today. I'm just trying some new studio ways out. So over here, there's my Karigami right there. There's one. There's several different ways. We made a bunch of these at Christmas time. So you can see the red one, red, white, and green one there. Some of the kids added ribbon to them. Right there's that one. Karigami is an art of folding and cutting. Alright, this is Serapov, and those art hands. My hands, they're just a gift from God, and the ideas that He helps me come up with. Through other people, through books. Yes, do I have to get out there and research it? I do, but, I just feel like these hands are a gift from God. So, Karigami. The libraries have books. I have actually taught this workshop for the public schools and also for the library, Mid-Continent Public Library system. I used to think that, origami, Karigami, maybe they were in the same category. I actually had a girl. How I learned how to make these is the year I taught Christian school. I had a girl that said, Miss Pop, can I come in at recess and can I show you something that I learned how to do? Well, that was 34 years ago because that was the year before my daughter was born. So I guess it's almost 35 now. And I have used these. This was my go-to project when I subbed at school and someone wouldn't leave enough information because all you have to do is have scissors and paper. White paper is fine. And so over the years, I got to studying more about Japanese and Chinese and trying to sort out the two. And then I got to looking at origami and Karigami. And so I figured out that this is actually Karigami because Karigami is the art of folding and cutting, not just a folding. So if you have colored paper, great. If you don't have colored paper, great. I've got me a couple of markers here. The first thing I'm going to do is I need to take, and I always show this step because I want the kids to learn. I want people to learn. I need a square. And most of the paper that we have for our copy machines, most of the paper is rectangle. So to get a square, we need to fold it like this. And then we're going to cut right here. I'm going to cut that extra off. And I'll tell you about what we can do with that extra paper here in a little bit. Okay, so then, now if you're doing this with children, you might not tell them about the cutting part first. You might just go with the markers and get them to design. I usually have them do like some kind of design. Dots, lines, zigzags. I mean, they can color whatever they want, really, but they have to realize that it's going to get cut up. So I really think that dots or lines are probably the best, because that way it doesn't matter if they draw something really nice and then they're like, well, I don't want to cut it. Of course, I guess if you're looking for something for them to do, you can just hand them another piece of paper. Now you will see both sides of this, so you might want to flip. And I think I'm going to just color on top of the spots I colored, because the paper I chose you can kind of see through. This is a fairly new marker, which is a new concept in my life after teaching in the public school for so long. We never, except in the beginning of the year, we never quite had markers that colored like this. Sometimes, did you know you could actually, the Mr. Sketch ones, you can actually dip them into a little bit of water and they'll come back. Mr. Sketch are the best kind to have because the ink well is up here. The reason the others go dry so quick is because their ink well's down here. Because you can even leave this a little jar, put it back on and leave it for a while, and it'll come back a lot quicker than other markers. So that's, I mean, I like the smelly stuff too, but that's why, one of the reasons. I went to some workshops at the state level and the national level, and I learned about some of the products. Yes, Mr. Sketch costs more, but in the long run, Mr. Sketch lasts better. It just produces a better color over the time span. Smells like bananas. Don't you wish you had smell-o-vision? When I was teaching school, the kids would want their friends to smell their marker, and so they would like touch the noses of their friend, not meaning to, but they wanted to smell, and then the other kid would turn and look, and yes, okay, well, I'm glad we're not doing that in the midst of this crisis that we're in. Okay, so now I've colored on both sides. I already have this folded in half from when I was cutting it. So I'm going to fold it in half again. And then I'm going to fold it a second time. So now I have a triangle, a small triangle like this. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to cut. Can you see my chart right here? And I'll post this later online. We're going to cut. We're going to cut across and stop. Cut across and stop. Cut across and stop. These are the stop signs, the ones that are vertical. It really doesn't matter how far apart you do those in the beginning. It's mostly you just want to do it correctly, because then we can talk about how you can stretch it and make it different. All right. Now I've done this so long just to hurry us a little bit. I'm going to just go cut. I'm going to cut. Works better if you just cut off the top. So you're going to cut and stop. You're going to flip. Cut and stop. Flip. Cut and stop. So you're getting as close as you can there. You'll leave a little edge because you don't want it to like break real quick. But cut, stop, cut, stop. And Janelle, I sure do appreciate you watching me. I know others will probably view it later, but you're the one that's on screen with me. Actually, do I have some more people? Let's see. I have 4 people. But Janelle's the only one I see a comment from, or that I can see. I have this little rinky-dink way to put my phone together. If I keep doing these, I may have to figure out something else. My son got me a fancier machine, but it won't do what I want, so I have an old-timey one with duct tape to allow the phone to stand up, because it's actually one that was made for a camera. So anyway, I'm just going to shoot them every day. I'm going to get better. I'm going to hopefully bring a little joy to some people along the way. All right, so I'm going to lay that down. Sometimes people will hold this up in the air and try to do. It's just best to lay it flat, because now what you're going to do is you're going to unfold. So I'm going to fold back to that big triangle. I'm unfolding so that I go back to that big triangle. Now I'm going to flip it over because I'm trying to get some of those creases to straighten out a little bit now. You know, the paper kind of did together. Hi, Vicky. Good to see you. Okay, and so then I'm going to carefully stick my hand in here. And so I'm trying to flatten this back out to the paper. Now I'm going to flip again because, like I said, those folds, you're kind of trying to overcome the folds. Who else do I have on there? Hi, Amy. Hey, you know, it's really kind of fun to see people's names on there that I really know. Oh, I can see people's faces. Sometimes it's fun when you see people you don't know, but it's really fun too to see people you know. When your daughter says, your son says, "Mom, you're of that certain age." So now I grab this little part right here, pull it together. That's why we cut that part. And so then, you know, we can hang these. When I was in Nicaragua, and we were doing that wedding. Hi, Marianne. Glad you're watching. When I was in Nicaragua and we had that wedding for the couple that were getting married while we were there, I made a whole bunch of these white. So these work for quick, just a quick decoration. Now, what I always do with children of any age that I can think that they can process it, I asked them when we get to this point, I was like, so this is how long it is. How would we make it longer? How would we make this longer? And so eventually somebody in the room will come up with that you need to cut these smaller. I don't ever do that at first because I want them to successfully do one. And then I challenge them because I've had students in my class, I'll see if I can find a picture that I'll add online, who has cut one of these that's as tall as me. And I'm like just a teeny bit over 5 foot tall. But yes, so that's a challenge if you have a bunch of people that you're around, kids that you're around, and you want to challenge them to an activity. You know, a little kid, you could just let them scribble on it and then cut it and hang them. Have a party. We did, over here I have the ones that we did at Christmas. So if you get the right colors, they kind of look a little Christmas tree-like. All right, so now I have these strips that were left from some I cut. And I use those for bookmarks. Also, I challenge the children. And I don't have a really, really small one, but this is fairly small. It was from the scrap. You can see that it fits on the scrap. I tell the kids that I want one that can sit on my thumb. And do you know, I've had them do that a lot. I have them do that a lot. They'll see who can do that. Now, it has to still open at least twice for them to win that, but I've had that. I also have pictures of that. I'll set up a folder and maybe some other instructions if you need those, and also a picture of this that shows, because sometimes I've done this. Of course, that was like 25 years ago, 27 years ago probably. I've done these and drawn the lines on there for them, and I've done it with preschoolers, like 4-year-olds. 4 or 5-year-old age. Okay, I want to do another one because I have several people that have joined me. And I'm going to just do one in colored paper because that makes it fun. So what we do is we take a rectangle sheet of paper. And we're wanting to come up with a square. Remember, this is called karigami. Not origami, but karigami. Karigami is the art of cutting and folding. I learned about this from a student I taught about 35 years ago. She's like, Miss Poff, how could I come in at recess and talk to you? I have a really cool project you might like. Little did I know how important that project would be over time. I used to carry white paper with me everywhere I went when I used to sub, when I was trying to get back into the classroom after my children were older. Okay, so now I'm going to fold this again. All right, if anybody out there is Independence Christian School, that's where I was teaching, and that I know some people in my life right now, they're actually attended there. I go to church with a gentleman, a wonderful gentleman, and he was actually at Independence Christian. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the lines on this one so you can see. So I'm going to cut the top part off, just clip it off like that, and then I'm going to draw these lines. So if you're doing this with a younger child, draw the lines for them. And as I share projects on here the next little while, I'm going to do simple things. For a while, I have a workshop I made up and taught to the primetime workers in the Blue Springs School District, and I called it White Paper Workshop. So I think I'm going to go through a bunch of things that I used to do with a White Paper Workshop because I want something that people have on hand. So that people who don't want to get out and go to the store can hopefully find. You can probably have white paper even if you don't have the other. Now you can use construction paper, but you might you probably need a little heavier scissors. The adult scissors might work better for that. If you're using it with a child, I would try to do the paper because you're already folding. My experience with younger children is that kindergartners have trouble cutting more than a couple of layers. Okay, so now I have this. Now I'm going to cut it a little bit different this time, flip it around like that because I am doing it with the lines. So you can go faster with it once you learn how to do it. But yes, it is great fun to challenge them to make a small one, challenge them to make a large one, challenge them to see what they can do with the scraps. Sometimes I would have students, a lot of the students would just throw or toss away their extra pieces. And then you have that one kid who likes to recycle. And they would go across the whole room and pick up all of them that anybody would give them. Sometimes I think some of the children didn't have supplies at home, and they would do it for that reason also. Okay. So I'm going to open it. Remember, I'm unfolding it, the same kind of fold I did to fold it, except it's harder now because when you cut that paper, it kind of sticks together there, so you've got to undo it. Undo, push back. Now I'm going to flip over. So now this is what it looks like. Now I'm going to open again. Now on this one I try to keep the bottom layer, my hand on top, and this layer in this hand. And I'm trying to keep my hands enough out that you can see. Marianne, would you say will this be recorded? Yes, this will be recorded. I will post it on my Facebook page, and I will also save it to my phone, and then I will put it on my YouTube channel. So you'll be able to access it either way. And then I'll have a folder of additional pictures of things I've done like this in the past with other kids and a little more instructions. Okay. So then I'm going to pull it up in the middle. Let's see, I'm looking for, if you want to layer them, you can layer them. It's kind of fun. Actually, I never thought about this, but the kids did. They started layering them, and they wore them as hats and, all kinds of things. They would set them on their head. Now, so you can see that the first one I cut is definitely not as long as the other one. And if they they mess up a line, you can just cut it and make it shorter. Okay, that is what I've got today. I sure do appreciate all those people who watched, and I will get busy here when I get off, and I will add a folder and some more instructions to go. So join me tomorrow, and I know some of you people out there that have been watching me are some of my church friends. Maybe not at my church, but I know that we have faith and we enjoy helping people. I'm going to, every Sunday while we're under this quarantine, I am going to do a Sunday school art. Something that you might do in Sunday school or with children at church. So you guys have a great day. Hopefully this added a little bit to your life today. Thanks for joining me. If you should make these projects, take a picture and post for me. You guys have a great day now. This is Sarah Poff and those art hands, a gift from God.